Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple of things. I was thinking earlier, I probably would have written a different talk had I known. But staying in gratitude is the ultimate. I'll talk about that in a minute. And first and foremost, if anybody needs support, we are here to be there for our rough and tough times and also to celebrate each other's successes. So please let us know if you need anything. I just want to talk about the spiritual aspect of the Marshall Fire, and just acknowledge that Boulder Valley has had a tough and rough year. My goodness, but we're all in this together. So first and foremost, this is not the time to try to figure it out. It's not the time. It's not the time to ask the questions. Why did it happen? Why didn't God drop snow on the day before? Asking why is just, it's not time. Right now, it's time to feel our feelings. And there's a lot of sorrow in the air. I took Lucy out for a walk yesterday, and the feeling was just so ominous. And I know we're all feeling that, and just acknowledging that. And that's okay. We should feel that. As the shock transform into creativity and the rebuild begins, many, but not all the answers will be, the questions will have answers. How many of you have ever had the experience like, oh man, this is the worst thing that's ever happened? And then at some point you're able to say, oh, now I get why that happened. So we don't get to know right now. But there are a few things that you and I can do to uplift the consciousness as we're all part of this amazing valley that has certainly made worldwide news this week. The first thing, and this is the hardest, and that is to trust the mystery. The most important thing I think you and I can do outside of being grateful is to trust, is to learn to trust. On a spiritual level, we can trust the wisdom of the divine. While there are scientific explanations of why the perfect storm happened, on a spiritual level, there are universal wisdoms that will be revealed to us as we go along. And all we get to do is just trust. I think in my recovery, in my many years of recovery, the most important thing I've learned to do is to trust. I don't get to know the answers all the time. The second thing we can do is to acknowledge the dignity in all people. And I feel so strongly about this. I think I'm going to send Governor Polis a letter speaking to this, because I would like him to talk about this. On the eve of losing all physical objects, and certainly losing a home is the most shocking of all, it is important to remember that no human experience can take away our dignity. Our dignity is the state and the quality of being respectful. There's a place in all of us that no matter what happens in the outer world, there's a place of respect out of which our creativity comes forth. We will, and the community will, and everyone who's lost their home will rebuild, and it will come from this place of dignity. And our job right now is to remember that for them. And the third thing, you've heard it all morning, is to live in gratitude. I think one of the most important things that we can do is, and one of the most important acts of kindness that we can do in uplifting the consciousness of Boulder Valley. And for those of us who haven't lost everything, this is what we need to do. Turn away from the clamor of calamity and move into the softness and the tenderness of gratitude. What are you most grateful for? What are your treasures in life? What do you want to shout from the mountaintop about what you're grateful for? Write it in your journals. Think about it driving in your car, brushing your teeth, sitting at your computer, watching TV. every moment, go inside as often as you can to uplift the consciousness for everybody else. Live in a constant state of gratitude. So we have trust, we have dignity, and we have gratitude. And if, again, anybody feels like you're sinking into despair, call us, because we're here for you. And I don't know about you, for all of us who have animals, it is where we are the most grateful with outside of our families. And I just want to acknowledge that Sapphire is here with us. Lucy left a while back to go outside, but we all have our animals that we love so much. So I would love to hear from all of you. I want to know how you're doing, about how everything's been happening. But before we do, no, I want to hear first. How are you all doing? We've talked a little bit about that. And then I'd like to do a prayer at the end.